Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Neha. Thank you, Dr. Nishant. And now it's the time to start the international session. And today is the 1738th day of uninterrupted daily webinar of IFPH. Before beginning the session, let's have a silent prayer. Dear doctors, students of homeopathy, and friends of homeopathy, today it is the 1738th day of uninterrupted daily webinar of International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. And today, our guest speaker is Dr. Komal Rathore Gupta. She is a consultant physician at Asiana Chowk, Delhi. More than 7 years of experience. And today, we are going to have the topic in polycystic ovarian syndrome and homeopathy. Let's welcome Dr. Komal Rathore Gupta, and I welcome all for the session, you all for the session.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hello.
Hello, good evening. Hi, everyone. Is my voice audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, sir. I'll be sharing my PPT.
Yeah, you can.
Hanji, sir. Sir, it is visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, sir.
We can start.
So, should I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir. Hello, good evening to everyone. And namaste to all. Myself, Dr. Komal. I'm going to present today about PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So let's start. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a lifestyle, a genetic, a hormonal, and a reproductive or disorder, which affects the women of the reproductive age. 1 in 10 women usually suffer from PCOS, and the percentage is 16 to 13% of women of reproductive age suffer from this condition. It's a very common endocrine disorder among the reproductive age females, and it's a common hormonal problem too. It usually starts with adolescence, but symptoms may fluctuate with the passage of time. So, it's a lifestyle, it's a genetic, it's a hormonal, it's a metabolic, and it's an endocrine disorder. So, as you can see in the slide, one side there is normal ovary and on the other side there is polycystic ovary. The polycystic ovary is filled with the cyst. Now comes to the etiology. Etiology is the cause. What is the cause of PCOS? The exact cause of PCOS is not known. But still there are certain factors which contribute to the formation of PCOS. First is the genetic predisposition. Genetic predisposition means there must be genes. PCOS must be running in the genes or there must be a strong family history. Then comes the insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance means the body cells are resistant to insulin. And insulin is necessary for the production of glucose in the body. Blood sugar maintain karta hai. It maintains the blood sugar level. Therefore, if the body is resistant to insulin, so there will be more blood glucose, there will be more blood sugar. Hence, it can lead to hyperinsulinemia or it can lead to even type 2 diabetes. Then comes obesity. Diet. Diet is the most diet, especially the outside food, when we consume more of the junk food. Then comes the environmental factors. Environmental factors such as cigarette smoking or alcohol consumption. This also contributes to the PCOS. Then stress. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sir, am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
Sir, in case any problem, then do let me know.
Sure. You can
Okay, sir.
continue.
Okay. Stress, then the sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle means a lifestyle where there is no physical workout. Throughout the day, the person has to sit. Then comes excess of androgens. Androgens are the male hormones. Because of excess of androgens, there can be PCOS. And last is the low-grade inflammation. Inflammation which is present in the body that can also link to the hormonal imbalance and obesity. As you can see in the slide, It's the picture is only for the reference purpose. What causes PCOS? Understanding the syndrome. Here comes the key factors: family history. Second is the lifestyle and overweight. Third is insulin resistance. And fourth is chronic inflammation. After the etiology part, we'll switch to the pathophysiology. Etiology has been done. Now comes the pathophysiology part. That means how PCOS actually occurs. What's the reason? So there is defect. There is a hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. And because of the primary defect of that axis, there are certain things. First thing is hypersecretion of LH. Hypersecretion of LH means LH is secreted more. LH is the luteinizing hormone. It's a gonadotropin hormone. It is secreted more because of the defect in the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. And because of the more production of LH, there will be more production of androgens. Androgens, again, the male hormones, which is called testosterone. And that can lead to hyperandrogenism, that is excess of male and excess of androgens, and which can later cause hirsutism, that is abnormal hair growth, alopecia and acne in females. This was one point. Now other comes the insulin resistance that leads to hyperinsulinemia. Insulin resistance, as I already told you, body becomes insulin resistant. So there will be more secretion of, there will be more blood glucose in the body. Because of the more blood glucose, there can be obesity and pigmentation of skin, which is known as acanthosis nigricans. Acanthosis nigricans is a condition where there is dark velvety appears in the areas like neck, armpits, the inner thighs and the groins. Then third comes the hyposecretion of FSH. Hyposecretion means there will be less secretion of, low secretion of FSH. FSH is follicular stimulating hormone. As you can see, LH, there is more secretion, but FSH secretion is low. Because follicular stimulating hormone is secreted low, so there will be no proper development of follicles. The follicles will be impaired. That leads to no ovulation. There will be anevolution. Anevolution means there will be no ovulation, there will be no formation of egg. And hence, this causes oligomenorrhea or amenorrhea. Oligomenorrhea means less menses, low flow, or there will be no absent menses in the females. After the pathophysiology, now comes the clinical features. What are the clinical features seen in the PCOS patient? The first clinical feature will be oligomenorrhea or amenorrhea. That means irregular periods or absence of periods. Third is hirsutism. Hirsutism is abnormal hair growth that is seen on the chin area, the upper lip, belly, or on the chest. Then third comes the acne pimples. Then the alopecia. Alopecia, male pattern baldness. Male pattern baldness will be seen. Thinning of hair. There will be obesity, weight gain. Mood swings will be there. Anxiety. Disturbed sleep. The sleep will be disturbed. Fatigue. The patient will always be lethargic and will always feel like weak and will always be fatigued. Now there comes acanthosis nigricans. This can be seen among patients who are obese. Because of this will be because of the insulin resistance. Acanthosis nigricans, as I already told you, there will be dark velvety patches on the folds of the neck, armpits, inner thighs, groins, and under the breast. There are more clinical features like the female can present with a difficulty in conceiving. There will be difficulty in losing weight. The female is trying to lose the weight, but she is not able to lose the weight. High BP can be there. High insulin levels will always be there because of the insulin resistance. Then dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea means periods will be painful. I have a reference with the picture. As you can see in the picture, there is hair loss, hirsutism, pelvic pain, infertility, overweight, irregular periods, fatigue, high testosterone levels, and acne. Now comes how PCOS affects the body. Again, it's the same thing. Hair loss will be there. PCOS affects the body in the way there will be hair loss, there will be mood disorder, sleep problem will be there, abnormal hair growth will be there, infertility, insulin resistance, weight gain, unpredictable periods, acne. After the clinical features, now one has to diagnose about the has to diagnose the PCOS. So there is a criteria which is known as Rotterdam criteria. Rotterdam criteria is the criteria which says it says that out of the three conditions, the two should be fulfilled. The two should be there in the patient to diagnose the patient as PCOS. First condition is oligomenorrhea or amenorrhea. Again, oligomenorrhea or amenorrhea, irregular cycles, less than 9 cycles in a year, or absent of menstrual periods. Second comes hyperandrogenism. Hyperandrogenism, as I already told you, excess of androgens. Androgens are the male hormones. That means there will be high level of testosterone. That will lead to hirsutism, abnormal hair growth, acne, and alopecia, male pattern like baldness. Third comes PCOS, ovarian morphology. That means when we are done with the ultrasound of the patient, there will be polycystic ovaries seen. Multiple cysts will be there, at least more than 10 in number, along the surface of the ovary, making a necklace-like appearance. This is the Rotterdam criteria. Out of the three, if the two are there in the patient, then we can say that the patient is PCOS. Now comes the investigation part. Before investigating, before going with any blood test, one should always rule out UPT, urine pregnancy test. Because in pregnancy, there is amenorrhea too. So first, you should always rule out the UPT. After UPT, we'll get some blood tests done. Second is AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone, thyroid profile. Thyroid profile, because in thyroid also, in hypothyroidism too, patient has the similar symptoms like amenorrhea, acanthosis nigricans is there, and plus there is weight gain. Therefore, we'll go for the thyroid profile, that is T3, T4 and TSH. Then the lipid profile, LFT. Lipid profile and LFT, because of the high insulin level, the patient is more of obese. And because of high insulin, there can be chances that the lipid profile or cholesterol will be high. There will be high triglycerides. Then comes the hormonal assay. Hormonal assay contains few hormonal tests that includes FSH, follicular stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone, prolactin, estradiol, that is E2, that is a form of estrogen, total testosterone. These hormonal assay to be done just to rule out PCOS. Then comes the glucose tolerance test, which will be impaired in the PCOS patient, again because of the high insulin, because of the insulin resistance. Then comes blood sugar fasting and PP, postprandial and sugar fasting should be done. Fasting insulin. And last is the ultrasound. Ultrasound should always be there to rule out PCOS. Usually what we do is transvaginal ultrasound is advised on the 5th day of the cycle for the one who are married. But for the unmarried girls, we advise lower abdominal ultrasound. Now comes the management of PCOS. How will you manage the PCOS? The most important thing is the diet. The patient should have the balanced diet. A balanced diet is the diet which has limit of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates should be limited, and there should be more of protein in the diet. The BMR of the patient should be between 18.5 to 24.9 for a healthy female. Then we'll advise the patient for the physical activity, for the reduction of weight, and to keep one active. Fourth is the sleeping habits. Because sleep cycle is disturbed, there is sleep apnea seen in patient. Therefore, the sleep pattern should be on time. And the last is the patient should avoid alcohol and cigarettes because this leads to more production of androgens. This is an image. A girl, the things that should be avoided and that should be recommended. Avoided is sugar, trans fats, saturated fats, alcohol, salty food, processed foods, fried foods that should be avoided for the PCOS patient. And recommended is this seasonal fruits, the vegetables, low-fat diet. Fish the patient can take because it's rich in omega-3, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. Now comes the complications of PCOS. What are the complications? First complication is type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can occur because the body is insulin resistant. So it can lead to type 2 diabetes. There will be more blood glucose in the body. Hence, it can cause type 2 diabetes. Cardiovascular disorders can again occur because of the obesity. Endometrial cancer. Endometrial cancer will occur because there is no periods, there is amenorrhea, hence the endometrial thickening. There will be endometrial thickening. And because of the endometrial thickening, because there are no periods going on, so there is no shedding of endometrium. So there will be hyperplasia of endometrium, there will be thickening of endometrium that can later lead to endometrial cancer. Now comes the infertility, depression, anxiety, miscarriages. Usually it is seen that the PCOS patient has multiple miscarriages. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea means sleep cycle is disturbed. Patient is not able to sleep properly. Obesity and impaired glucose tolerance. These are the complications that is seen in the PCOS patient. Now comes the differential diagnosis. Differential diagnosis again, when the PCOS patient comes to us, we should always exclude the pregnancy. After excluding the pregnancy, now comes the hypothyroidism. As I already told you, in hypothyroidism, there is amenorrhea and there are similar symptoms like PCOS. Therefore, differential diagnosis, hypothyroidism can be there. Third comes hypoprolactinemia. That means high levels of prolactin in the blood. Then Cushing syndrome. What is Cushing syndrome? Cushing syndrome is a metabolic disorder in which there is cortisol levels are high. Because of the high cortisol level, it can definitely give such symptoms like periods, delayed periods, and weight gain. Then comes the adrenal tumors. And last is the acromegaly. These are the differential diagnoses of PCOS. Now we are coming to the miasmatic part of PCOS. Before this, I would like to ask someone. Anyone wants to ask anything? Anyone has any doubt? We can have the query session at the end. But then in between, if anyone wants to ask anything, then he or she may ask.
We can make it in the last. Otherwise,
Okay, sir.
yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So now comes the miasmatic background of PCOS. In case of PCOS, it is the SORA miasm initially, because initially there are functional changes going on. And after the functional changes, it is followed by the psychotic miasm. Psychotic miasm, which leads to the cystic changes in the ovary. Therefore, PCOS is moreover the result of combination of soric and psychotic miasm in the sick individual that leads to the imbalances of the hormones and formation of cyst. However, syphilitic miasm can be seen only in the cases where it can lead to when there will be malignancy or cancer pathology. Otherwise, if there is no cancer pathology, then syphilitic miasm won't be there. Moreover, SORA and psychotic miasm will be there in PCOS. PCOS comes the SORA miasm. What will be the SORA miasm? There will be functional disturbances of ovaries and uterus. Menses will be scanty, amenorrhea, retarded menses of short duration, dysmenorrhea with sharp pains, acne, pimples, and face will be dry. Now, psychosis. There will be cystic degeneration of ovaries and the fallopian tubes. There can be tumor formation of ovaries, polycystic disease of the ovary, infertility. Menses will be clotted, profuse, and dark, and discharges will be acrid. Now comes the rubric part. I have mentioned some rubrics from the Kent repertory. First rubric is, and I have not mentioned much medicines. I have just mentioned the most important medicines. First rubric is female genitalia enlarged ovaries. Second rubric will be female genitalia tumors ovary cyst. Third will be female genitalia menses scanty. Fourth will be female genitalia menses irregular. Then we have female genitalia menses late, general's obesity, and face eruptions acne. So after repertorizing, after seeing the Kent's repertory, not repertorizing, after seeing the Kent's repertory, I found there are some common remedies about which I'll mention here. Now comes the therapeutic part of the PCOS. I have mentioned about the rubrics. Now it's about the therapeutic part. So the first medicine is Ofurinum. Ofurinum is an ovarian extract. It's a very specific remedy for PCOS, usually given in 200 potencies. It is moreover given for the stimulation of ovaries, for the production of follicles. The second comes Ovatosta. Again, it's a specific remedy. It is also given for the stimulation of ovaries so that there will be a proper production of follicles, and the potency given is 3x. Third comes Oleum Jack. Oleum Jack I usually give in the potency of 3x, and the purpose, it's again a specific remedy only for the unwanted hair growth, unwanted facial hair growth. If the patient comes to me, so we can give Oleum Jack. Now comes the remedy Pulsatilla. As we already know about the Pulsatilla, it is the most important remedy in PCOS. There are symptoms like amenorrhea because of the feet getting wet. There will be suppressed menses because of the wet feet. Menses are delayed. Menses will be too late, scanty, thick, dark, and clotted. There will be changeability of symptoms. Symptoms will always be changeable in Pulsatilla. Mouth is dry without thirst. There is great aversion to fatty food, hot drinks, and warm food. Diarrhea will be seen in a pulsatilla patient before and during and after menses. Mentally, the patient is very emotional. Patient has weeping disposition. Patient wants company and patient wants sympathy from others. When you console the patient, consolation ameliorates her complaints, but she'll feel better when somebody will console her. The aggravation will be seen from heat, rich fatty food, warm and in evening. And the patient will be better in the open air, in the cold applications and with the cold food. Then comes the remedy Apis. Apis is usually given for the right-sided ovarian cyst. When the right-sided ovaries are affected, the patient will be indifferent, there will be apathy, patient will be awkward, jealousy will be there, and the patient cannot concentrate. There will be stinging pains in the ovary, especially in the right side. Menses will be suppressed. There will be no menses will be suppressed with the head symptoms. Burning and stinging pain in the ovaries. Patient is thirstless, but patient craves for milk. There is burning and soning in the patient while the patient passes urine. Eyelids are swollen and congested. Menses are suppressed, usually in young girls. The patient is aggravated from heat, touch, and during sleep, and patient is better from the cold and in open air. Now comes Calcarea carb. Calcarea carb patient will be chilly, fair, fat, flabby, obese. Calcarea carb patient can take cold easily and everything settles in the throat. Everything Calcarea carb, whatever it takes, it always settles in the throat. Hence, Calcarea carb patient is chilly, prone to tonsillitis, prone to cold, you can say. Patient is a psychotic trend. Patient is prone to overgrowths. Menses are too early, too profuse, too long with vertigo. Breast will be tender and swollen. There will be tonsillitis with the yellow mucus in the throat. The patient will crave for eggs. Patient feels better when constipated. There will be habitual constipation in the patient. Patient is somewhere, the bones of the patient are somewhere brittle, soft and weak. When it comes to the mental symptoms, the patient is sad, anxiety is there, fear of darkness, restlessness, and aversion to work. Mental excitement causes profuse return of flow. Now, patient is aggravated in cold, wet weather. From physical and mental work, the patient is aggravated and better by in dry climate. Now comes conium. Conium is given for the it is given in the dysmenorrhea when there is drawing pains in thighs, menses are delayed and scanty, ovaries are enlarged, and there is ill effects of suppressed menses. Menses are somewhere suppressed, and because of this, there are ill effects. Great soreness of breast, patient is tired, there is great debilitated, patient is very weak. Patient is not in state of any mental efforts. There is weakness of mind. Memory is weak. Patient is confused. And patient is weak and sad. Conium is aggravated with cold and suppression of desire and is better with the motion and hanging the limbs. Then comes lycopodium. Lycopodium is a right-sided remedy. Therefore, the ovaries of right-sided will be affected. Menses will be too late, last too long or too profuse. There will be dryness in the vagina. The coition will be painful and there will be burning in the vagina. Food tastes sour and sour eructations will be there. Mentally, the patient is melancholic and afraid to be alone. Melancholic, sad. Weak memory, the patient is confused. Loss of self-confidence is there. And suppression of menses from fright, sadness, which develops anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa means appetite will be, patient को भूख नहीं लगेगी, there will be loss of appetite. Aggravation, right-sided, heat, warm room, hot air, warm applications, and better by moments and on getting cold. Then comes natremure. Natremure, menses are suppressed usually because of the prolonged consumption of excessive salt. Menses are suppressed due to severe anemia and debility. Patients are greatly debilitated and feels profound weakness, especially in the morning. The menses are scanty and late. Mentally, patient is angry and frightful. Consolation aggravates the patient. Amenorrhea is due to ill effects of the grieves. And the patient is aggravated in the warm room, heat and mental exertion. It's better in open air and cold bathing. Then comes thuja. Thuja, where vagina is very sensitive, there is warty growths, tendency to warty growths in the vulva or the perineum. Severe pain in the left ovary. The leukorrhea is profuse, thick and greenish. Ovaritis left side at every menstrual period. Profuse perspiration before menses. Patient has a fixed idea. There will be sensation as if strange person were at her side, as if soul and body were separated, as if something alive in abdomen and so on. Because the patient is hysterical. The patient is aggravated in damp, wet weather in evening, and it's better in heart pressure, better by heart pressure, warmth and cold bathing. After these remedies, there are some mother tinctures then we can give to the PCOS patient. First mother tincture is Jonosia ashoka. Jonosia ashoka is usually given to treat the amenorrhea, and it not only treats for the amenorrhea but it also regulates the menstrual cycle, reduces the menstrual pain for menorrhagia and for the uterine pains. Second come hemamelis. Hemamelis, as we already know, it's an anti-hemorrhagic mother tincture. Therefore, the patient comes to you with the profuse, but with the heavy menses. Menses are there throughout the month for 20 days, for 15 days. Then we can give hemamelis mother tincture. There is venous congestion, hemorrhages, varicose veins. For varicose veins, we can give hemamelis. Bruised soreness of affected parts, soreness over whole abdomen, intermenstrual pain, and ovaritis. Third comes the Gossypium mother tincture. Gossypium mother tincture is given when the menses are tardy. Tardy means there is less flow. When there is sensation that the flow is about to start, but yet not had started. Fourth comes the pulsatilla. Pulsatilla is also given in the form of mother tincture. Menses are suppressed because of the wet feet, nervous debility. There are late menses, scanty menses, and tardy menses. Last comes Senecio aureus. Senecio aureus are usually given to the young girls with backache. There is amenorrhea, menses are retarded, and they have dysmenorrhea too. I've completed with my presentation. If you have any doubt, any query, then please let me know. We are here for the discussion now.
Okay, doctor, it was a great session.
Thank you, sir.
And we do have a lot of time remaining.
Yes, sir, we have.
Okay. So we made it fast, but it was very precise, simple, and to the core, it was informative. So let's welcome the participants to interact
Yes, sir.
with the speaker. Lot of doctors are here. Here we have a question.
Is this question, ma'am, do you give potency and mother tincture alongside?
Yeah.
Yes, I give. I give mother tinctures as a supportive, and potency also I give, but there are not much repetition. I try to give a high potency and then mother tincture. Ma'am, Ashoka mother tincture will increase the flow of menstruation. No, ma'am. Yes, it will flow. Ashoka mother tincture will increase the flow of menses. No, it won't increase. It will regulate the menstrual cycle. It won't do like this that the flow will be heavy. Excess flow, no. Flow will be normal flow, but in the cases where there is amenorrhea, in such cases we can give Ashoka that will regulate the menstrual cycle and will bring the periods. AMH is high in PCOD, yes. AMH anti-Mullerian hormone is high in PCOD patient.
You can ask direct questions also, or in the chat box. You can mention. You can.
Sir, I think there are. I'm able to see. I'm not able to see the questions. If I'm missing something, so please do let me know.
Yeah, sure. So you're from Delhi.
Yes, sir, I'm from Delhi.
And I know you are having a lot of cases.
Yes, sir.
You might have dealt a lot of cases of PCOS. Can you mention some cases about this, connecting with this?
So can you mention the?
Can you mention some cases, some experiences?
Yes, sir, I can mention the experiences. One more cycle. So one more question is there. Then in case of menorrhagia, can we give Ashoka mother tincture, ma'am, as it would maintain the cycle? Yes, we can give. Ashoka mother tincture can be given. But again, it depends on the repetition of the dose and the dosage and the repetition. How much drops you are telling the patient to take, it depends on that. How often to get ultrasounds to monitor treatment prognosis? After every 3 to 6 months. Usually I recommend after 3 months, but if the patient is not comfortable, then after 6 months an ultrasound should always be there to monitor the treatment. LM potency in PCOD, sorry, I haven't given any LM potency in PCOD, so I have no idea and I have no experience about it. So, yes, sir. So you were asking about the case. PCOS patient in Delhi, lot of patients are there because lifestyle is sedentary. Everyone is sitting in front of the laptop and just moreover the corporate ones, they have to sit throughout the day. There is no physical workout, no exercise, and even the diet is mostly they have to take the outside food. So definitely it affect PCOS. Usually patient comes to me with amenorrhea. Periods are missed for 2 months, for 3 months. So in case where I find the female is pregnant, so I usually try to get UPT done. A UPT should always be there. Since the patient told you, the patient will tell me, no, there is no need, but just for the confirmatory purpose, just to rule out the thing, the UPT should always be done. After UPT, since the UPT is negative, then we start with the treatment. In the first, uh, I mean, when the patient comes for the first time, the patient won't be able to give the proper history. Patient is not comfortable, in fact, sometimes. in giving you the proper history like the appetite, the thirst, stool, urine. Sometimes patient feels this is actually going very long. So in that case, first of all, I would like to, matlab, I treat in the way like the symptoms. Try to give the medicine according to the symptoms. Because every time I am not able to find the constitutional remedy. And it's not possible. Sometimes you don't have that much of time. And sometimes you are not able to strike. Sometimes the remedy which you are thinking it's exactly not this, the one that should be. Or you are not getting a true drug picture. So in that case, I just try to give the medicine according to the symptoms. And once the patient is settled, then definitely I try with the frequent visits, I try to uh, take the more of detailed history with the attendant. Sometimes patient is not comfortable, so with the attendant regarding the mental symptoms, regarding the mind symptoms, patient won't be able to tell you the mind symptoms. For that, patient will always be give you a very vague picture. It's a clearly patient won't tell you. So उसके लिए attendant is the one that helps in giving the mind symptoms. So later on, sir, definitely I try to find out the constitutional remedy. But sometimes still there is a failure where constitutional remedy find out karna becomes difficult. But in that case, we have the basic remedies that is like calcarea, carb and thuja, the lycopodium, sepia, pulsatilla, natrium mu. These are the basic remedies. I mean, these are the specific remedies for the PCOS, which usually works. Prolactin is high in PCOD. Yes, prolactin will be high in PCOD. Uh, Prolactin high in PCOD. Yes. In PCOD, as I already told you, Dr. Haris, sir, this is your query. In PCOD, as I already told you, as a complication, there will be hyperprolactinemia. Hyperprolactinemia means prolactin levels will be high in the blood. High prolactin can be due to because there are hormonal imbalance. LH is high, FSH is low, and because of the high insulin level. And since the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis is somewhere impaired, because of that, there will be more release of prolactin. Therefore, prolactin will be high in the PCOD.
Another question is there, how often to get ultrasounds to monitor treatment prognosis?
Sir, ultrasounds are usually after 3 months. After 3 months, an ultrasound, once the patient has come to you, to get an ultrasound done after 3 months, just to see the size of the cyst, whether it is getting reduced or whether it's stable. But sometimes patient is somewhere not comfortable. At every 3 months, patient finds this difficult. The patient feels that after every 3 months, I won't get an ultrasound done. In such case, I recommend after 6 months. After 6 months to get an ultrasound. So just to see that the ovaries volume are reducing or they are increasing, or what is the status of the volume of the ovaries and volume of the cyst. Usually an ultrasound is to be done on the 5th day of the periods because that will give you a better picture. Ma'am, can we give both mother tincture and 3x tablet at the same time? Yes, I give, but I cannot say about the others. I give, to definitely you can give, because 3x like Ofurinum or whether you give Ovatosta, so they are always the supportive medicine. Mother tincture will always be a supportive medicine. So this you can simultaneously give the mother tincture and 3x if you see the patient is having the hair growth, then you can give Oleum Jack 3x and along with the mother tincture you can give. But again, make sure the make sure the repetition and the dosage should be minimum. There should be like mother tincture if you are giving, to start with the 5 drops or 10 drops, not the 15 or 20 drops. Because mother tinctures are usually the crude form. So that can be, rather, I haven't seen any complication or like any matlab kuch, any problem with the mother tinctures in my practice. Mother tinctures are always safe to give if you are giving in a proper doses and the repetition is proper.
So, to begin with, whenever you are having a person, if it is difficult to elicit the generals or mental generals or something else to find a constitutional medicine, you are starting the case by giving the specifics or considering the common symptoms.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I try to because every time it's not possible. So, and sometimes the patient is coming from a non-homeopathic background, means patient has never taken homeopathic. So, in that case, it's like patient को पहले उस चीज के मतलब like patient should be I mean trust. It's all about trust, building trust. So in that case, you cannot switch to the constitutional remedy. If you are not able to find out, still you are searching for the constitutional. One should not be. One should the initially the aim or the purpose is to heal the patient, but curing the patient is the purpose. But initially, patient should be better. Initially patient को जो अगर if the patient is coming with the periods not coming, patient is coming with a symptom like amenorrhea from last 4 months, so in that case patient wants a instant result. Patient wants the periods to come. In that case you cannot wait for the constitutional remedy. In that case you have to give either the mother tincture or any other remedy so that the patient is comfortable with that thing. उसके periods जो नहीं आ पा रहे, the periods which are not coming from last 3 to 4 months, and there will be a trust built. Patient will be able to have a faith on the doctor because the patient already knows in case of allopathic they usually gives OCPs, oral contraceptive pills, which are very harmful. They are the formation of hormones only, the artificial hormones. So in that case, patient is already taking that, and now the patient has switched to homeopathic. So patient want a result, but as we already told the patient that homeopathic has no side effects and all, but still patient cannot wait for long. Patient can wait for few days, but not much. That कि पेशेंट को बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम पेशेंट वेट नहीं करेगा. पेशेंट वांट्स कि माय पीरियड शुड कम, आई शुड बी रिलीव्ड. देन क्योर के लिए वी कैन प्रोलॉन्ग द टाइम, बट व्हेन इट्स कम अबाउट द इनिशियली पेशेंट के सिम्टम को हील करना, और यू कैन से पेशेंट के सिम्टम को बेटर करना, दैट कैन बी डन विद एनी मदर टिंचर और द स्पेसिफिक रेमेडी.
And what is the success rate with PCOS along with this hirsutism, acanthosis nigra? What do you think?
Sir, what is the
how well you can manage these acanthosis and hirsutism with medicines?
Sir,
With,
parasitism usually, maybe I'm biased or maybe I'm prejudiced. Usually, in the case of parasitism, I start the case with the Thuja 1M, and then apart from this, I give the patient Oleum Jack 3x as a to because of the hair growth, parasitism, abnormal hair growth. So just to control that, I start the case with the Thuja 1M, and then I start from the after giving this apna booster dose, the Thuja 1M. Then I give patient Oleum Jack 3x. This how I control the this apna hirsutism part. And the acanthosis nigricans you were asking.
yeah.
So in case of acanthosis nigricans, first I get the blood sugar done. Because somewhere, if I found that the patient has the borderline sugar, then instead of the cause for the acanthosis is the high insulin level. So I try to give the mother tincture like Gymnema or Ciflendra. Matlab the mother tinctures that can control the blood sugar level. Because if the blood sugar level will be controlled, तो वो जो उससे related symptoms है like acanthosis nigricans or what other symptoms, वो gradually settle हो जाएंगे. मतलब my purpose is to rule out the cause and to give medicine according to the cause. If I start giving the medicine only for acanthosis nigricans, like any medicine, suppose I give the patient CPR for the pigmentation. But sir, along with that, I think कि acanthosis nigricans का जो cause आ रहा है वो high insulin आ रहा है. तो वो इंसुलिन को कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा पहले उसका ब्लड शुगर चेक करवा के. अगर ब्लड शुगर इज समवेयर हाई और इट्स ऑन द बॉर्डर लाइन एंड द पेशेंट इज नॉट टेकिंग एनी एलोपैथिक मेडिसिन, देन वी कैन स्टार्ट विद द होम्योपैथिक मेडिसिन फॉर टू कंट्रोल द ब्लड शुगर. एंड साइमल्टेनियसली अगर ब्लड शुगर कंट्रोल हो रहा है तो उसका कैंथोसिस निग्रिकेंस भी सेटल होना शुरू हो जाएगा. इट वोंट बी इंक्रीज. वो इंक्रीज नहीं होगा. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस डेफिनेटली पेशेंट शुड बी एडवाइज. पेशेंट को एडवाइस किया जाता है, मतलब मैं यूजुअली एडवाइस करती हूँ पेशेंट को विद अ डाइट. पेशेंट शुड ऑलवेज ट्राई टू लूज द वेट. शुगर्स एंड जितने भी अपना पैक्ड फूड्स, प्रोसेस्ड फूड्स, ये सब पेशेंट को अवॉइड करने होते हैं. डाइट एडवाइस शुड ऑलवेज बी गिवन. अपार्ट फ्रॉम डाइट, I advise the patient to take 30 to 45 minutes walk. Go for a 30 to 45 minutes walk or a yoga or aerobics as per the comfortable or as per the convenience of the patient, as per the schedule of the patient.
Okay, so you focus on diet, exercise.
Yes, sir.
Along with that, you are considering common symptoms and all. First, you need to alleviate the symptoms. You need to build the confidence of the person, and after that, you need to control the recurrence by prescribing constitutional medicines.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good.
Yes, sir.
Nice, excellent, excellent.
Yes, sir. So this is my way. I know different ways are there for every homeopathic doctor, but this is my way. I just try to build the confidence of the, I just try to build the faith and trust. पेशेंट का डॉक्टर से ट्रस्ट होना बहुत जरूरी है. पेशेंट शुड बी satisfied with the doctor. मतलब this is my way of thinking. Maybe I can be wrong. This is my way of thinking that patient should feel like if patient is going out of your clinic, the patient should be 50% cure, 50% should be better with the way you talk to the patient or with the way you guide the patient.
It's a very confident doctor. I think I can measure your confidence from your
So,
presentation itself. As a very confident building doctor, I think you can educate your patient in the initial time itself that homeopathy is different from allopathy or any other pathies.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And by that itself, we can communicate a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir, definitely. Initially, because patient is coming with a mindset of allopathic. So, first of all, we need to change the mindset of the patient. This is not allopathy, this is a homeopathic medicine. But patient knows, patient has to be इतना उसको confident दिलाना है that there are no side effects. So, you need not to worry. Patient को अपने जब तक आप confidence में लेना in any way, either through the, मतलब it's like किसी भी तरीके से पेशेंट को समझा के या पेशेंट को थोड़ा सा उसको अलोंग विद द मेडिसिन आप उसको थोड़ा डाइट प्लान बताओ, थोड़ा लाइफस्टाइल चेंजेस बताओ, तो पेशेंट फील्स वेरी सैटिस्फैक्टरी दैट द डॉक्टर इज नॉट ओनली कन्फाइंड विद द मेडिसिन, डॉक्टर इज अवेयर अबाउट द डाइट एंड द लाइफस्टाइल ऑल्सो, what changes should be done. So this is my way of practicing. I deal in this way because PCO is it's a female disorder. So usually females wants like females are someone who wants each and everything. Matlab, they are like they have to be satisfied. Satisfaction is not only just giving them the medicine. Satisfaction is when you'll ask certain things to them, when you'll talk to them, when you'll try to guide them something, when you'll try to speak to them, when you will try to give them the knowledge apart from the disease. That makes them ha, the doctor is somewhere knowledgeable. Because yes, sir.
Excellent. And by interaction only, we can assume
Yes, sir. Only by
what person
interaction.
is, or whether she's an auromet, very bossy person,
Yes,
whether
sir.
she is a pulsatilla, a phosphorus.
Yes, sir.
These all things we can differentiate only by interaction only. And
Yes, sir.
we are very sure that you can achieve that easily. And we have Dr. Dhanesh with us. Sir, you can ask.
Achha.
Thank you,
Hello,
Dr.
good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Kamal Rathore. It's really an excellent session. And this is one of the a very good presentation as far as this PCOS is concerned. The, the most important point I have noted here is that your question answer session is more better than the presentation itself. That kind of thing you are giving to the audience. And we we can see the PCOD from the very from the very onset of the menarche to menopause. That's what I have noted. Even girls at the age of 13 or 14 are getting this kind of PCOS, and even at 45 also they are getting this kind of PCOS. So that if we study the case in detail, we can find that the most important point is not the diet or a lack of exercise, but the stress.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes,
is what
you
I
are
have.
right.
Today also I got a patient. She is working as a teacher, not a permanent teacher, but she is having part-time job as a teacher. She was well pampered by her parents, and she's the only one child for them. And after marriage, the person is in Gulf, and he took her to Gulf. But their life at Gulf was entirely different. She was not well cared by the person. Once she had a fever, a very big injury on her uh, finger, but the person didn't take her to the hospital. So that kind of negligence on the part of this person towards her. He always want her to write PSC exam and take this government job. So much of demanding on her, so much of pressure was there on her body, and that, or as well as on the mind also. She was totally upset. She used to think that, oh, why can't I die in this situation? Why should I live with him together? And anyway, they have a child, and after having the child, she used to think that why should I live with him? Why should I pamper this boy? Whether I should do some damage to the boy, like that. So much of so that kind of thought is going in her mind. And still, she is having a weight of about 72 kilos when she visited me some 2 weeks back. And after taking homeopathic medicine, when she came back today, it was 69. That means three weight reduction was for about 3 kilos within 2 weeks. Not much diet, no diet was controlled. Only what I just give her, what the advice I was given to her was that you just take only mm, night food as early as possible and only less, and ask her to do some bit of exercise. But she used to work hard for, she used to wake up to some about 2 a.m. to study. And she used to sleep up to 8 a.m. So that's a troublesome problem for her. So I asked her to change her lifestyle back to normal. So nowadays she is taking sleep up to 12 midnight, and used to wake up by 3, 4 a.m. to care her child, because school has opened now. So this is what we can find in all case of PCOC if you take the case in detail. And then the medicine given was Netromor in the beginning, but that works. Today she feels a little bit relaxed, her face become bright, and she is quite happy. So this is what I would like to say about the case. So the mental stress is a very, very important thing, and the most prominent cause, reason for PCOS. What's your opinion on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
That's why I think Doctor is suggesting to do a lot of exercises along with that yoga relaxation techniques, etc., with along with medicines, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And here we are having Dr. Ram Pravesh with us. Doctor, you can.
Thank you, Dr. Bindu, Rajji, and everyone. Namaskar, Dr. Dhanesh ji, Dr. Pisala, and congratulations, Dr. Komal. Excellent session. Very nice. Describe the PCOS. All angle touch. Describe the PCOS. Angle. You have first symptomological angle. Second, mythological angle, and third, pathological angle and therapeutic angle. Touch and therapeutic angle treatment, thyrio, ovarian, ovarium, and ovatosta and William Jack. And very nice describe the homeopathic medicine. And PCOS cause electrical disbalance and lifestyle. Electrical disbalance after disturbance of chemical disturbance, hormonal disbalance. Hormonal disturbance after the body, ovarian, PCOS, and other diseases. So very, very thanks, Dr. Komal Rathore.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So it was a great session, and we think it's time to conclude. Before concluding, you need to add anything more.
No, sir.
So this is
It was
the
a nice session.
yeah.
I just tried to make a very precise, like precise way. I just tried to make this PPT, but maybe I have missed certain points. But yes, as said by Dr. Dhanesh sir, stress is definitely one of the major factor. I missed out that stress is actually a major factor. The disappointed, because patient comes to me also with the like disappointed love, you can say, or marriages are not getting happy marriage nahi hai, unsuccessful marriages hai. So this creates somewhere a big stress, and because of that over stress it leads to overthinking, and because of overthinking the patient sleep is disturbed, the patient is constantly thinking about it. So that is definitely, that is the one of the matlab, that is the most important cause. I missed out that. That is the most important cause for PCOS. I have seen in every PCOS female, whether a young girl, a married woman, a young girl is having a stress of achieving good exams, good marks in exams. She has the pressure. I have to achieve this much. I have to achieve that much. Somewhere it's a pressure is always there in a student, but it's a over stress when it's come about taking an over stress from the usual stress. In today's lifetime, sabki, in everyone's life there is stress, but here the stress is somewhere which is not a normal. It's an over stress that leads to overthinking. The patient is thinking more about it, the patient is constantly thinking about it. There is disturbances in the life, in the sleep, and moreover the stress hormones, because of the high stress level, stress hormones will release. More stress hormones will release, ultimately it will lead to the hormonal imbalance. So this point was the most important point, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the addition. Great. So you please come again on this forum with more
Yes, sir,
insight.
sure, sir,
We will be
definitely, sir.
waiting for
Thank you
you.
so much for
Great.
giving me the privilege. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. On behalf of IUPH, I thank you. And I thank all who were here, who presented this session. Okay, and it's time to pass over to Malayalam session. Over to
Okay, sir.
Shaila.
Okay, sir.
Over
Thank
to
you,
Dr.
sir.
Shaila. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Take care.
There is an
Thank you,
announcement.
everyone. Thank you, every doctor over here. Thank you so much, sir.
There is an announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Suzy Chariga, and doctor will be discussing about the role of homeopathy in managing public health crisis. Over to Dr. Bindiraj.
Okay, it's time to conclude and over to Dr. Shaila for the Malayalam session.
Okay, thank you, sir.